Modern life moves fast, and for many dogs, it moves too fast. Too many sounds, too many expectations, too little time to rest, to process, to feel safe. From a dog's view, struggling behavior is rarely about being difficult. It's about living in a world that asks and their nervous system can handle. Today, on A Dog's View, we're talking about what happens when life is too much, too fast, and how to understand behavior through the legs model and total welfare will completely change the conversation. Dogs live in a human designed world. Our schedules, our noise, our pace, our expectations. And while dogs are incredibly adaptable, adaptation comes at a cost. And when we see reactivity, anxiety, shutdown, or fear, we often ask, how do I stop this behavior? But the better question is, what is this dog coping with? Fear and overwhelm don't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's freezing, sometimes it's avoiding eye contact, pacing, maybe a dog is barking, or lunging, hiding, or completely shut down. These are not random behaviors, they're nervous system responses. From a dog's view, these behaviors are attempts to regulate stress in a world that feels unpredictable or overwhelming. The way I like to help explain understanding this overwhelm from a dog's view is through the legs model. When we say we're looking at behavior through the legs lens or the legs model, what we're really saying is that we're looking at the whole dog, not just the moment that the behavior shows up. Because behavior is part of a story, but not the whole story. When we take the time to understand the rest of the book, everything changes. Learning. Learning is about experience, not just formal training, but everything a dog has learned about the world. A dog, for example, a dog who has learned that loud noises predict chaos. A dog who has learned that strangers are always reaching and grabbing or looming over them. A dog who has learned that their signals are ignored. From a dog's view, reacting makes sense. If learning has taught a dog that the world is unpredictable or unsafe, their nervous system will stay on high alert, even in the normal situations. So remember, learning isn't erased by good intentions, it's shaped by repetition and emotional support. Learning, and it's shaped by, emotional support. Environment is often the most overlooked piece. Think about how busy your home is, how much noise there is, how predictable is the daily routine, whether the dog has a true downtime, time to rest and to decompress. I see many dogs living in homes that are simply too stimulating for them. A dog might cope outside the home, but unravels when you come indoors as soon as guests arrive, because this isn't being stubborn. This is because the environment has changed. Genetics influence how dogs experience the world long before learning ever starts. Some dogs are more sensitive to sound, quicker to notice movement. Some are very much faster to react than others. Some are slower to recover from stressful situations. These traits are not problems, they're survival traits. And in modern life, those traits can leave a dog feeling very overwhelmed. Genetics, a way to say it is genetics load the gun, environment and learning are what pull the trigger for the behavior that we end up seeing. The self of the dog. This is how the dog is right now and everything that they've gone through altogether, how they're feeling, their physical health, pain or discomfort, fatigue, emotional capacity, maybe because of traumas and past experiences, they only can take so much of something before they're going to start reacting. And the current stress load at the time, at the moment, Can be very hard. A dog who handled something yesterday might not be able to cope today, and that matters. If the dog's cup is full, even small challenges, even small stress or change can make it spill out into behavior. For example, a dog recovering from illness or dealing with pain may suddenly appear reactive or fearful, not because they've changed, but because their capacity has. They might be in pain or feeling uncomfortable, and that makes them react when they never have before. So being aware of all these things, and when you layer these learning, the genetics, the environment, and the self of the dog, behavior stops being mysterious and it becomes understandable, predictable, even logical. So we've been talking lots about total welfare lately, and the conversation which is just growing for dogs with the 5 domains. And so when I talk about total welfare, I'm talking about the whole life of the dog, not just the moment that the behavior shows up, and not just right now. One of the ways to do that is through the 5 domains of animal welfare. And what's important to understand is that none of these domains exist on their own. They all interact with each other, and they all influence how a dog feels and behaves. The first domain is nutrition. Nutrition isn't just about what's in the bowl. It's about how the dog's body is being supported. Hunger, poor digestion, food sensitivities, or unmet nutritional needs can really affect energy levels and emotional regulation, stress tolerance. A dog who doesn't feel well physically has far less capacity to cope with the stress and the world around them. Domain number 2 is physical environment. This includes the dog's home, the noise, the predictability, the rest space, and the overall sensory load. Many dogs live in environments that are so loving, but they are still overwhelming. Too much activity, too much noise, too little downtime. And when the environment doesn't support rest and recovery, stress will accumulate. The third domain is health and fitness. Pain, discomfort, or physical limitations can change how dogs experience everything. A dog dealing with pain may react more quickly, recover more slowly, or withdraw entirely. Even subtle changes and even subtle health challenges can be a big impact on behavior, especially combined with stress from other areas of life. Domain number 4 is behavioral interactions. And this one is really a large domain to be focusing on and to thinking about and to learning and to understand with every dog, is because it's behavioral interactions that with people, with other animals, and with the environment, and the ability to express their natural behaviors with all of these interactions. If a dog can't communicate safely, can't move away when they really need the space, or can't engage in behaviors that are natural to them, frustration and stress build over time. And domain number 5 is the mental state. And this domain is different from the others because it is directly affected by all 4 of the other domains that come before it. The dog's emotional and mental well-being is the outcome of all of their nutrition, their environment, their health and fitness, and their behavioral interactions. When these domains are supported, the mental state improves. When they're compromised, behavior changes, because behavior is communication. That's why behavior can never be viewed in isolation. Behavior is part of the story, not the whole story. When we look at the dog and dogs through the legs and the 5 domains of total welfare, we stop trying to control individual chapters and start understanding the entire book. That's where real change can happen. When we support dogs across all 5 domains, we're not just changing behavior, we're improving quality of life. And from a dog's view, that changes everything. I would want to just discuss this a little more. total welfare through the legs lens, what we're actually doing here, ultimately, what I'm doing in my work and what we are doing in the family dog mediation community. We aren't working on dogs in isolation. We're supporting dogs by looking at their lives through the legs model and inside the 5 domains of animal welfare. So, and using the legs model inside that. So, number 1 is nutrition. I'm going to go into this a little deeper. I really wanted to try and explain this. It's a newer model that we've been using, and I love it. And I think it does help to understand dogs' behavior and to find the solutions that work. So first of all is nutrition. From the 5 domains, if we put the legs model, take the legs model into the nutrition, first domain of the 5 domains of welfare, learning, has the dog learned food insecurity, competition, or stress around eating? Environment, where does the dog eat? How does the dog eat? Is it rushed? Is it noisy? Is it unpredictable? The genetics, are there breed or individual predispositions affecting digestion or metabolism? And how they feel about being fed too. How is the dog feeling physically right now? Nutrition affects energy, emotional regulation, and resilience. A dog who isn't comfortable in their body has less capacity to cope with life. Domain number 2, physical environment, bringing in the legs model. It's huge. The physical environment, learning, what has the dog learned to expect in their environment? The environment itself, noise, activity, rest areas, predictability, or lack of it. The genetics, sensitivity to sound, movement, or visual stimuli varies greatly. There's lots of genetics to be explored in this domain too. And the self of the dog, how much stimulation can the dog handle today? Many dogs live in homes that are simply too stimulating or asking too much. That's not failure, it's information. The 3rd domain is fitness and health, and bringing in the legs model, the learning. Has the dog learned that movement hurts or that handling is uncomfortable? Environment, slippery floors, stairs, confined spaces, lack of safe movement. The genetics, what are the structural traits of the dog? Are there inherited conditions? And what's the recovery speed for stressful situations? And the self of the dog in the health and fitness domain, are they in pain, illness, aging, all affect the behavior? Is it a puppy? Are they going through different things that in their development that make their health and fitness is changing? They might need a little more, they might need a little less. Health changes behavior not because the dog is being difficult, but because capacity has changed. Domain number 4 is the behavioral interactions, and this one is often misunderstood. We really need to look at interactions with people, other animals, the environment, and access to natural behaviors. So in the legs model, has communication been respected or punished with people, the environment, or other animals? In the environment, in these interactions with the environment, can the dog move away, say no, or decompress when interacting with people, with other dogs, or in the environment? And the genetics, social preference vary very much. Not all dogs want the same interactions with people, with other animals, or with the environment. I just love how this ties in together. And the self of the dog, the emotional state determines the tolerance and flexibility in dealing with the environment, with people, and with other animals. So when dogs can't interact safely or naturally, frustration and stress build. And number 5, domain number 5, the mental state. This one is different. The mental state is directly affected by all of the others. And the legs model, through legs, we can understand that mental well-being is not something we train. It's something that emerges when the dog's needs are met across all of the domains. When nutrition, the environment, the health and fitness, and behavioral interactions are supported, the mental state improves. When the mental state improves, behavior often changes. That's why we don't treat behavior as an isolated issue. Behavior is part of the story, not the whole story. In family dog mediation and in my work, we're not trying to control dogs. We're trying to understand them and support the whole dog in the life they're actually living. That's what total welfare looks like in real life. When we support dogs across all 5 domains using the legs model, we don't just change behavior, we change lives. Please share this with anyone who is not sure about what's going on with their dog. If you're confused, you'll have another listen. Don't hesitate to book a call. I don't want to have any more dogs suffering because they're being misunderstood. And humans, I don't want you to be suffering and sad and confused, frustrated, depressed, or feeling guilty because of your dog's behavior and you don't know what to do or how to deal with it. There is solutions, and that's why I'm here, and that's what I love helping with, is having everybody be successful, the dogs be successful, you having a great life with your best friend together. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please book a call if you're not sure, if anybody needs it, if you know someone who needs some help, don't hesitate. And thank you so much for watching.